Welcome to the Get Real Podcast, your high-octane boost of full-on reality therapy for personal, business, and investing success with your host, Ron Phillips, because somebody's got to tell it like it is.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Get Real Podcast. Ron Phillips, Heather Marchant, another show, another topic.
That's right.
And today I think we're planning on being super helpful today.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last time, if you have things you want us to cover, or if you feel stuck and want more information and just wish you could talk to Ron or I about it. I've had a couple clients reach out and want to talk to Ron or I about things. This is a great avenue for that, because then everyone else benefits too. So if there's something you want to get advice about or whatever, even send it in, invest@rpcinvest.com, and we can talk about those items on the podcast so it can benefit everybody.
Plus, it's way more efficient for me, and I love it.
It's recorded. I mean, you guys, we are developing a training for a new hire. I was working on it this week, and I was laughing at how we had probably, for a new hire, I bet we shared a requirement to listen to about 12 specific episodes of a podcast, of our podcast. So we use these internally. We use them constantly to send out to clients. When clients have a question that's going to take 15 minutes to answer, we send out a video, and then they can watch it on their own time. It's fantastic. So if I say so myself.
It is. Fantastic. Heather did a great job, and it is fantastic. She's got them all lined up. We've got them on cue, all the different topics. So today we're going to cover another one. Now, I think we've spoken about this a little bit before, but I don't think we've dedicated a show to it. So
yeah, and it's been requested. We have talked about it, but it's been a little while. And so if you're not going back into the archives, which you can on getrealestatesuccess.com, you can actually search podcast episodes by keywords about what the episode's about. So
if you want to know how many episodes I talk about being bald and sexy, you can actually search. I'm not sure that'll come up.
Episodes we have.
I'm not sure that'll come up, but it might. Who knows?
Well, that came up because we broke 200 episodes, Ron, and we broke it like weeks ago. I'm like, wow, we have over we're on episode like 220 or something.
That seems impossible.
I know. It's.
I just guess we are. We've got a lot to say. I just told Heather before the podcast today, I'm like, this is going to be a super heavy Heather episode.
Yeah.
And as I said, then I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, there's no topic you don't have something to say about the topic. It's impossible.
Well, I think we balance each other out really well that way, because some I'm more quiet and you speak more, but you're right.
I keep like fighting off the urge to do a political podcast. I think it would be a load of fun. My brothers and I have actually threatened to do an NFL podcast with all of us, which would be hysterical. Wow. Nowhere near as funny as the Kelsey brothers, but still funny.
Huh.
So who knows?
I would listen, even though I don't really. I'm a college football fan versus NFL, but I would listen. So.
All right, we probably should tell them what we're talking about today. We danced around it now for about an hour. Well, 3 minutes.
The topic that we were asked to talk about was more about repairs and how to handle upsets. So when things go wrong, and ironically, I feel like we talk about that a lot. I mean, I talked about my Violet house. Little update on that is the renovation is all finished. And I just sent over the invoice and the outstanding balance from the property manager over to the attorney who handled the eviction. And she is going to file a lawsuit against the tenant for those funds. And it is depressingly high. The amount owed on the property management side is almost $20,000. And the amount owed for the renovation, it's not in front of me, but I think it was around 18 is what it came out to be, $18,000.
It should be noted, because sometimes we take these little clips from our shows and we post them on Instagram. And then we have these morons who comment. And I just want to say, before this gets clipped and posted, if it ever does, that Heather is talking about someone who is a complete loser. Complete loser. Okay? This is not a down on my luck story.
Mhm.
And Heather is going after the jugular because these people lost their job and everything's horrible in their life. We are talking about somebody who took complete advantage of the COVID laws, lived in a home for over a year.
Oh, 2 years, no rent, and had a job. Like
The whole time.
her
The
own
whole
mouth,
time.
had a job at Amazon, and Amazon's starting pay was over $30 an hour,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
destroyed the
So
house.
before everybody starts trolling on this and saying that Heather's a horrible person because she's just trying to stick it to the poor person ain't poor, and
Yep.
the poor person was enriched because she stole from Heather and had absolutely nothing to, and look, I said I wasn't gonna have much to say today, but I just remember that these trolls get on and start,
I heard about it. I didn't go in and read about it, but I
they
read it.
start bashing on capitalism and you guys are horrible. You're just taking money from the poor people and you raise rents all the time and you guys are horrible people. And I had to comment. I usually don't comment, but I had to comment.
Yeah.
That's not at all what is happening here.
Yep.
Okay? I just want to state for the record. And yeah, when we put a whole bunch of money into properties to make them nicer, you bet we raise the rent. We raise it right up to market. And you know how I know we're not taking advantage of anybody? It's really pretty simple. Because the old tenant moved out and we qualify the new tenants based on their pay. So we know that they can afford it or they wouldn't be able to rent it.
Yep.
So don't go on some troll marathon about how we're taking advantage of people. Sorry for the
It's true.
slight.
It's true. But you're right, because it is. I didn't go in and I heard about it, and I didn't even go in and look because it would have bothered me. Because I'm like, that's so not at all where my heart is at. But with this tenant, I'm going after her because it's the right thing to do. To hold her
It
accountable.
absolutely is. And there should be punitive damages for douchebags
Yes.
like that.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. I'll stop.
No, it's fine. So I have listed the property. It should actually go live today when we're recording this, and hope to sell it and just reposition into more property.
You're
And
such a greedy person. You're probably going to sell it for a profit too.
I am selling it for a profit.
Gosh.
It probably has like appreciation of like $45,000 or $50,000, depending on what I get.
I can't believe that you would be such a greedy money grubber that you would take that $50,000 and then go after that poor, abused person for $20,000 more. What a greedy, horrible person would go after the $70,000 of profit from the property that they put their hard-earned money into and then funded for 2 years while the person lived rent-free.
Yes, exactly.
I may have
you have a blood
vessel break today.
But it's so true. And I think having that mindset of the abundance mindset has really gotten me through the turbulence of this, because it's been at a bad time for me. I talked about that I just moved. We've had unexpected expenses in our new house. It's been brutal, like affected my husband being able to sleep because it's been stressful. And we have our old house that's under contract and we're selling that house. And it's a lot.
I bet you're making money on that other house too, you rich, greedy grubber.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Horrible person.
Bought at the bottom of the market. So I'm making a good profit on it. That's the reason why we're buying this nicer house.
You should keep that property there, and you should lower the rent down and make it affordable housing for people. You rich grubber.
This is so great. I'm totally loving this part. We should just keep going at this.
Sorry.
So no, I'm loving it. So I think that the part that I wanted to talk about, though, is that painful part.
the part that actually has anything to do with the topic today.
No, that's
I keep saying that I'm going to stop, but I may not. I'm letting everybody know that when I said that I was going to stop, I may not Stop. Go ahead, Heather. Sorry.
Bring it. So the painful part of when the bid came in, this is kind of ironic, you guys. I don't know that I talked about this part. Is my bid came in, and it came in, and I saw photos, and I had a hard time believing that I could get the property in good condition with the bid I was provided. And maybe it's because I've renovated the home that we're selling and that we had just gotten bids for things in the house that we have that we just bought. And I went, I don't see how that property, just the sheetrock and trim damage, how I can't remember what the bid was. I want to say it was like 9,000 or 11,000, somewhere in there. And I was like, ooh, how is that going to look when it's done? Like, is that going to be really sloppy work? And then I ended up getting another bid. It came in a little higher, but from someone that I trusted. And I said, okay, let's go with you. Even though I'm paying more money, I know that I'm going to get a good product to be able to sell it, because I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to sell it because of shoddy workmanship. So how weird is that I wanted to pay more, but I did that on another repair just recently. I had on another property in the same city. I had it's been a month, you guys. I had the water pressure. There was no pressure regulator valve, and it ruined all the faucets, dishwasher. So several things needed to be replaced, and the bid came in at like $800. And I said, I know those pressure regulator valves are expensive, and all those plumbing fixtures. How is that going to get fixed? Oh, I'm sorry. I need to back up. They didn't say anything about the pressure regulator valve. That's what it was. They just were going to replace all the faucets. That's what it was. And the dishwasher. And I said, why are all of these failing at the same time? That makes no sense. I'm going to get another bid. So that guy, I got my story wrong. That guy came out and said, yeah, I can tell you why this happened. You have no pressure regulator valve, and you have a massive problem. If you don't repair that, then you can put in all new faucets and they'll break again. That's what it was. So I second guessed a low bid again, right? So that's not necessarily what I normally do, but I caught it twice in the last month.
All I know is it must be nice to have all that money where you can second guess people with low bids. Heather's so rich, guys, that she asks for higher bids. Oh my gosh, we should put every one of these clips out. Every one of them, we should put them all out just to mess with the trolls on Instagram.
Yeah, that's true. So a couple of takeaways that I want to share, just some helpful tips for people who are frustrated because they have a bunch of repairs that are coming up on their properties. Because I'm in the same camp. Ron's not immune. I'm not immune. We have expenses for owning our properties. And are they fun? No. And my property bank account, that is all of my income from my properties, not looking so hot this year. And I'm weathering the storm, and it sucks. However, a couple of things that I've done. Number one, I already mentioned it, asking for second bids. If it comes in too high, or if you think it's not realistic, that it's too low, ask more questions, get another bid. Then I also was watching and paying attention, right? I mean, that sounds like it should go without saying, but pay attention. You own the property.
Like we just had we've had, I don't know how many times on the show we've said this before, but it's been a lot. You have to actually look at your bank account and make sure that the money came in.
Yes.
It is no one else's responsibility to make sure you get your rent other than you. Literally nobody. So if you don't check your bank account for 6 months and then you want to start yelling at people because you didn't get your rent, you should yell at yourself because you're an idiot and you didn't check your bank account.
Yep.
And yeah, I actually meant that. If you didn't check your bank, so if you're listening and you haven't checked your bank account, the way to stop being an idiot is to open up your bank account and make sure the money is coming in. It takes literally, it takes 30 seconds every month. You can do it on your phone. You open it up. You make sure the rent came in. It's that simple. And if the rent is different than it was last month, if what you got is different, something's up and you probably ought to check on it. So I'm just saying.
And if you don't have time, hire somebody. I'm training my 13-year-old twins how to do this, and they're going to each be in charge of a property and just seeing that the money comes in. And I get to teach my kids, spend time with my kids, and help. My daughter's in a marketing class right now, and she's learning about investing, and she is like lit up in conversations with me because it's exciting to her that she understands something that I do every day for work,
It's very
right?
cool.
She asked me to
Does
come in and
she
talk to her
has
class.
she had the realization that you are a YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook star? Has she?
I'm a pretty big deal. I
Pretty
don't,
big deal. I know, right?
I don't think she knows. I mean, they've seen me on YouTube, but yeah, that's about it.
My
Um,
kids are like, yeah, let me know when your users are I mean, I don't know how many users we got.
the subscribers.
They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, you don't have 1 million followers. Okay, you're right.
Okay, I'm still a big deal. Okay, so although I started out with examples of spending more money on my bids, I actually am really careful and I look at my bids, pay attention to your bids, and you're not a victim to the bid. You don't have to use that bid. You can go out and you can find a contractor online and get other bids. You don't have to use your property manager. And I had a trash removal expense on a Memphis property for $1,100. See, it's been quite a month. It's been quite a 2023 for me. And that property, I called a local junk removal company, and they came the
Mhm.
next day and charged me $700, right? Saving
Yep.
money on every item that you can. And honestly, the mindset of figuring it out, there's a book called Everything is Figure Outable that I'm reading right now. And just the mindset to figure it out versus panicking and being a
Yeah.
victim to
Because panicking and being a victim does no one any good.
no.
You know, I've been
Yeah.
beating up on the trolls the whole show, but their lives will
Yeah.
never get better until they eliminate the victim mentality. And some of the people who are the trolls, they're not even victims. They're just people who feel bad for the victims that they've created in their head.
True.
So neither one of those people, because they're both living in this victim mentality, will ever be successful. It's impossible because you can't live in that world and be successful. It's not
Yeah.
possible. So, to anyone listening who just loves to troll the show, there's your solution. You don't have to be that way. You don't have to be an angry little person. You can be happy too, just like everybody else. All you have to do
Yep.
is just choose to be happy. Stop trolling people. You know, if you've got time to troll people, you probably got time to go make something else of yourself. I'm just saying.
True.
You should put that out as a
I would
clip.
say my
I'm
my
gonna start
last
naming. I'm gonna start naming them on this show. Okay, go ahead.
like
Sorry.
quote unquote. You could just do that wrong. So with the last tip I would say is going to take me a minute to cover, but keep a home warranty on your properties.
Mm,
So I was so bummed because I had a home warranty on that property with all the plumbing, and they said if it had a pressure regulator valve and it failed, then it would be covered. But I didn't have one to begin with, and I was like, "Dang it!" I thought it was all going to be covered because plumbing is covered really well on a home warranty.
yeah.
And I file my own claims. Again, back to the figure it out yourself, and you're the owner and you're the ultimate person responsible for your property.
Yep.
I had this come up because property managers have been pushing back on this several and saying we don't deal with home warranties, or they tell our clients, "Oh, it's not even going to be covered." They never cover anything. Or I've even seen them say this is not covered. And I've said, I'm pretty sure it is because my policy says it is covered. And I opened my own claim and it was. So you are ultimately responsible. So it's super simple to file a claim. You can do it online. It takes like 5 minutes. And then they have a contractor that calls you. And then I just give my property manager's phone number to coordinate. It is not a big time suck, and it saves
Mhm.
me money. And so don't be a victim of the I don't like home warranties, or my property manager doesn't like them. We are looking at another home warranty company too. We use them in a couple of areas that does a reimburse only home warranty. So they have a
Interesting.
set amount. I know. And you use your own person and they just reimburse. Kind of
So
like
I
your
have I
medical.
have had a home warranty on my house for probably the last, I don't know, 10 years on my
Hmm.
personal residence. And I have the amped up one that covers pools and all the other stuff. And I have made multiple times what I've paid for it just in the things that have broken in my house because they have, I think I had the luxury appliance package and stuff like that. So when anything fails, they're paying the max. And, I'm still paying out of pocket because those things are expensive, but way more than the policy. One
Yeah.
year my pool froze and my pool equipment, I mean, all of that stuff was covered. I got new pumps and I mean all the plumbing and everything. I mean
Wow.
they're usually worth it unless your house is a brand new house, in which case you already have a warranty. But sometimes it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Several times, and you guys got to understand, like we send them tons of business, and then they denied one of my claims. And I called the company. I'm like, look, that you denied this and you shouldn't have denied it. It took me way longer than it should have to get it covered, but ultimately they covered it. Was it
Yeah.
worth it? Yeah, it was HVAC. It was like $4,000. It was
Yeah.
very much
Worth
worth it.
it. Yeah.
So sometimes they're a pain in the butt, but what insurance isn't? I've never gotten a car wreck and had it been fun. I mean, it's just part of um, being a business owner and running a business. It's unfortunate, but sometimes you just got to do it. Otherwise, suck it up, Buttercup, and pay the money.
Yeah.
If you don't want to deal with it, I choose to deal with it.
Yeah. I will add one other tip in there for home warranties. If it's an emergency and your property manager says, this is an emergency, we can't wait for the home warranty, you open the claim, tell the home warranty company that it is an emergency and that you have to get someone out there, like a plumbing leak, right? Like you can't just let water damage happen to your property. They usually will reimburse if it's an emergency when you send the invoice over. So keep all of that in mind, right? That you can, everything is figure outable. You guys should read the book. I'm only like I don't know, 4 chapters in, but I'm like really, really loving it. So to have that mindset versus the victim mindset, super powerful. So those are my tips for your.
And good tips they are.
Thank
So I hope that helps. I provided much of that content today.
you.
So I hope Heather's tips helped. And if they did, use them. Get out there and make life easier for yourself this week.
Mm,
All right. And in any case, even if it wasn't helpful at all, get out there and make something happen.
that's right.
This has been the Get Real Podcast. To subscribe and for more information, including a list of all episodes, go to getrealestatesuccess.com.